You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey B&B fans, it's Belinda from Soap Dirt, and we've got to talk about Finn going down this rabbit hole with Thomas and Emma, and whether Liam set this all up to take the guy down, tarnish him, and ruin his marriage to Steffy. I did a video recently about Liam possibly masterminding this Xander return, but now there's new evidence that Liam might have actually set a trap to take down two men that he's targeting. Did you notice what was said this week that seems like several huge red flags about this being a villainous new plot of Liam's? Hey, please click subscribe if you haven't already. And now let's just jump right in. So on the most recent episode, depending on when you're watching this, a recent episode, Liam Spencer showed up for no reason at all to Hope Logan's little cabin on the Logan estate. He walked in without knocking like he still lived there. Thomas aside, Liam should not be walking into Hope's cabin or Steffi's beach house without knocking. Both these women need to just change their locks. That is their ex. Despite co-parent status, it's rude, it's presumptuous. He doesn't live at either of those houses, and he's not been told, oh, just come right in, right? Also, did you notice Liam never explained why he came by? He wasn't there to see Beth. He wasn't there to pick something up or drop something off. I suspect he showed up to see if his plan is taking hold, the plan to take down Thomas and also Finn. When Hope mentioned that Xander Avant was back in town, Liam barely raised an eyebrow. Literally, that's what he did. He raised his eyebrows a little, but he did not seem surprised. And since Xander was one of those that perpetuated the baby Beth lie and kept their daughter away from them, where was Liam's outrage? His reaction should have been, why is that guy back in LA? What does he want? How dare he show his face? Why is he back? You know, some outrage, at least a little. Thomas did not invent the baby Beth situation or the baby Beth lie. He just kept it going longer than it should have. Xander knew way before Thomas did and didn't bother to speak up because he was too busy covering for Zoe while he was banging her. Xander is not someone with clean hands in this situation, right? Just because Thomas did worse than he did, Xander didn't do better. He didn't. So Liam's whole response to Hope delivering that news seemed to me like a huge red flag that he knew Xander would be around. I still suspect that Liam asked him to come back to town, maybe even paid him, or just enticed him with a promise to get justice for Emma or, you know, whatever. When we all know Liam Spencer does not really care what happened to Emma, other than it being a way to get Thomas out of Hope's life. Even though Liam doesn't want her back, he just wants Steffy, and maybe to get Finn out of Steffi's life. So we have Liam showing up for no reason at all. Liam's not surprised Xander's in town, and Liam is not reacting the way he should to someone who helped keep their child from them. Liam even said something that to me was downright insane. He said, "It's not exactly easy to blame Xander." How is it not easy? He was involved. He lied to everyone. He knew about the Beth lie before Thomas did. He was perpetuating it. That's why Ridge fired him, and it was a deserved firing. But what Liam said when Hope first mentioned Xander was back in town was what really got my brain itching. Hope said the name Xander Avant, said he was back in town, and Liam said, and making Thomas's life hell, no doubt. Hope squinted hard at those words. How would Liam know that Xander came back for anything to do with Thomas? And according to Xander, he was simply in LA, needed a new doctor, and made an appointment to see Finn. Also, what exactly is Xander's medical need for a new doctor? He's a young guy. He seems to be in perfect health, first of all. Also, Finn is an ER doctor. He's like a trauma specialist. They don't generally have patients like a primary care doctor does. This is very sloppy writing all around. So Liam's lack of surprise, his lack of what should be a reaction of outrage about this baby liar being back. And then his supposed guess that Xander is back to mess with Thomas, those are all red flags for me. And there's also the fact that Xander would be an idiot if he didn't know Finn was married to Steffy. When you pick a new doctor, if you're smart, you Google them to make sure, they don't have scary reviews. They don't have a criminal record. You check them out a little bit, at least see where their practice is, office hours. And at the top of Google would be news stories about Finn and Steffy's wedding because she's a celebrity. She's a fashion icon. It's just another reason this is all so dodgy. And then at the same time, Liam was saying sketchy things to Hope at her cabin. Lee Finnegan was smelling a rat over at the hospital. Lee is a lot smarter than her son, Finn. In my humble opinion, she knew right away Finn should not be sticking his nose into any of this business, and especially that he should not be appointing himself Hope's guardian. Finn says, I can't drop it because it wouldn't be fair. And Lee's like, fair to who? And then he brought up Hope, and his mom said, do not get caught up being Hope's protector. And then she very astutely said, there's a complex history between your wife and Hope. And then she started to say more, and Finn cuts her right off, and he dismissed her concerns, which were valid. Lee was speaking truths. Finn said, nothing will come before my family. But then he picked right back up with his crazy talk about Thomas and Hope. Lee said it sounds like this Thomas thing is already causing tension in his marriage. It is, but Finn says it's not. And he said, I'll be wary of Thomas until proven otherwise. First of all, how do you prove a negative? Second, Thomas has been on the straight and narrow for a very long time, pretty much since he got his brain surgery, other than that one-off thing calling CPS on Brooke, which for my money, she started that crap. I don't feel too bad for her. And Thomas said, you can listen to my words, but you're not. That's okay, but look at my actions. And his actions have been above board. Instead, Finn is taking the word of a stranger going back 5 years to well before Thomas had life-altering brain surgery and is accusing his brother-in-law. So in the end, I feel like Finn has fallen right into a trap that Liam laid out for him. Liam wants to be Steffy's husband again. He wants it at all cost. He kissed her twice. He tried for a third. And then, kind of like a stalker, he was talking out loud to her portrait in his office at Spencer Publications saying, yes, you will be my wife again. And then all of a sudden, Xander's back and Finn is annoyed. Finn has been annoying his wife significantly. So I think Liam knows Steffy won't give up on her brother, and I think he's relying on Finn's inflated savior complex that comes with being a doctor to persist with this to the point that he alienates Steffy. I mean, it's a pretty solid plan if this is Liam's plan, and it seems to be working so far. The bottom line is, just by the way, there's no way they could prosecute Thomas for any of this. In case you didn't know it, in California, rape and murder have no statute of limitations. But that's murder. That's like, second degree, premeditated, serious murder. Any other kind of felony in general in California, the statute of limitation is 3 years. So there's no way, even if they reopen this case, that Thomas could or would be charged. He didn't hit her car with his car. He didn't chase her with the intent to kill her. He wanted her to pull over and talk. That's why he was honking and flashing his lights. What he did was not smart. It wasn't ethical, but it was not the kind of murder that has no statute of limitations. And yes, he definitely contributed to her death, but even so, statute of limitations expired. There's no way to get justice for Emma, even if that's what this is about, and I don't think it is. I think Liam sees everything lining up as he wants. I think Finn's too cocky and at the same time too naive to question things. Like, why did Xander want to see him? What's his medical condition? How did he choose him as a doctor? Why did he move back to LA? Does he have a job in town, or is he just back for this doctor thing? Instead of Finn questioning Xander with basic questions, he's taking everything on faith that Xander has said, like he's preaching gospel, basically saying Steffy doesn't know what she's talking about and he won't stop pushing. And if this is all what Liam planned, it is working a charm. Maybe Finn will stop and think about how much more skeptical he should have been in a few months from now when he's reading Liam and Steffy's engagement notice in the LA paper. I mean, that's what's going to happen if Dr. Finn does not get his head out of his rear and realize there's an agenda at play here, and it's probably not Xander's agenda. Wait and see. Hey, if you haven't already, please reach down, click subscribe, definitely drop your comments, and come back every day because we are here like clockwork, talking Bold and the Beautiful all week long. Thanks for tuning in. This is Belinda from Soap Dirt.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.